Can I tell you something? Your website doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to clearly show your value and make it easy to book. That's exactly what my Show It templates are built for. You can shop them all now at themonarchdesign.co/shop today. What if AI doesn't replace you, but actually forces you to become more you? Today, we're talking about intuition, million-dollar pivots, rebuilding after a health crisis, and what it really means to build a business in a world that's changing super fast. Welcome to the Self-Made Life Podcast, the show for creative entrepreneurs who are building their dream business and life on their terms. I'm your host, Ashley Wyatt, designer, entrepreneur, mama of two, and founder of the Monarch Design Co. And I believe success isn't handed to you, you create it. Here, we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to run a business, the wins, the lessons, and the messy in between. Whether you're scaling your side hustle during nap time, redefining your brand, or ready to take your business full time, this show is your go-to for honest conversations, practical strategies, and inspiration to help you grow with confidence. Because being self-made isn't about doing it alone. It's about building a life and business that feels as good as it looks. So let's dive in. Hey friends, welcome back to the Self-Made Life Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Wyatt, brand designer, web designer, creative director, mom of two from Monarch Design Co. And today's conversation is one that I've been genuinely excited about for quite some time, 6 months in the making. And we're going to be talking about AI, but not in like a productivity hack or like tech bro, like hustle harder way. I am joined by Kelsey Kerslake, who is the CEO of The Aligned Business and creator of The Art of Becoming, and most importantly, Soul. But yeah, Kelsey, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. I know we've been trying to kind of schedule this forever, so I'm glad to be chatting officially and recording.
Amazing. Before we dive in, I always like to start off these episodes with a boss or bust moment. So do you have like something that went as planned this week? Maybe something that didn't quite go as planned? Give us some realness.
I don't know if it's this week, but it's been like this last 2 months probably. And it has been the crazy weather with the snow and then the kids not having school. And so I think that, we went right from the holidays and I'm like, sweet, like January is going to be so great. I'm going to dive into all of this work. And then I have a 6 and a 3-year-old boy, and they are both autistic, and they both have like, it's just, we can't get work done when they're home. And it doesn't happen. And so, yeah, just them not having school for probably it's mid-February right now. And they even had a long weekend this weekend, which was planned. And so between the planned like actual holidays and the missed school, I think they've gone to like 6 days of school in the last 6 weeks. So I'll just say like what I thought I would be getting done in January and February is like, it just hasn't happened the way I thought it would. So I'm kind of grappling with like, I don't know, the fact of like, Kelsey, don't make excuses, like get your ish done. And also just being like, Kelsey, you've had no time to do anything and you are chronically ill. So, like it's okay. That's kind of like the story of my life at this point. So, yeah.
No, I relate to that wholeheartedly. Literally, my son is home today from preschool because it's a snowy one. And last week he was home sick. There was an outbreak. We also had a long weekend. And like most of January was like snowmageddon. So
yeah. I know I'm just across the lake from you. So we get the same stuff. Yours is worse, I'm sure.
So fun. Love that for us. But yeah, anyways, we are going to dive in. So Kelsey, before we get into AI and everything that you're building now, can you walk us through like the season you're currently in, where you've been, how you've kind of like shifted into this place? Because really like your story over the last year alone is like pretty intense.
It is. And I'm just like, how much do you want me to dive into this? So yeah, I'll let you kind of like be like, oh, or tell me this or that. So basically, if you don't know me or you're just like, okay, new person here in front of my face, I was a brand and web designer that scaled an agency, started that in 2011. And then because brand and web designers were wanting to learn how to actually grow their studios and agencies, I started coaching them. That turned into me getting certified as a life and business coach. And I grew my aligned business method for all types of service providers, creative entrepreneurs, people building businesses. I've actually used it for my own now, like real estate business. It's not something that just works for online businesses. It's how do you design a business that like supports who you want to be and your just the life that you want to be living. And then we like reverse engineer that. And so I grew a coaching program to over $1 million with a team of 5 employees. And about 3 years ago, I had to let go a lot of my team. I transitioned into a solo entrepreneur because of health issues that I was dealing with. And even over the past year, I found out that I have a very rare immunodeficiency. Literally only one other living person in the world has this right now. And I'm actually, so this is like so many details. I'm actually flying to Germany. I don't even know if I told you. I'm officially like, I booked my tickets. I'm going to be in the research study with like the team that researches the gene that I have like caused by my immunodeficiency is caused by. So I'm going to hopefully get some more just like concrete answers on what is going on. But basically, I mean, Ashley, we were working together at this time. I was just bedridden with like, I couldn't get, like, I could barely even like Voxer you to be like, hi, I can't make it to this thing. And it would just be like suddenly in 2 weeks at a time, I kept ending up in the hospital over a series of like 3 years. And so last year, I basically was like, probably around a year ago, I remember it was February of 2025. I just said, Kelsey, like, you kind of have to stop everything more or less. I like took care of the clients I had, but I shut down a lot of things, just went to bed and rested and healed myself. And so the season I'm in now is I'm not healed, but I am healing, and I'm finally getting, I would say, my life back and moving forward with whatever that looks like now.
What would you say was like the hardest part of like stepping away from like that $1 million program and like working directly like one-on-one and in group capacity with your clients?
So I think the hardest thing was the identity of like, oh, I was the CEO who had full-time employees, who was like, my goal and the reason I had the team I had was to scale to $5 million a year. And the fact that like I went for it and my body physically shut down and I wasn't able to like reach the goals that I had, like I'm glad I went for it, but there is this identity shift of like going backwards in a way, and something I didn't even know that this was happening. This is actually something that Soul helped me realize this week. I was so in survival mode from that point going forward that I never grieved the fact that I shut down my academy program. And it was something that was like, I still do the method, but the actual like academy program in the format that it was, and like with the team that I had, I was so proud of like what we did and how like we supported so many people and the wins that they made. And I never got to be sad about that because I was so busy just like using the energy I had to survive and keep things going for the clients I did have and like my family. And so that was probably the hardest part, is when you don't have something that you did love so much that you didn't want to shut down, that you had to for so many various reasons. Like, who are you then? And who do you become when you take that thing away that was so core to your identity?
Yeah. And I love that, that really just ties back into like the art of becoming. And I think so many of us attach our identity to the version of business that worked before. And like, you maybe had to like pivot because you had to. And like, I very much like resonate with the grief aspect, as I was doing stationery and I was killing it, but I was forced to pivot because of the pandemic and whatever was going on. Obviously, like stationery and like chronic illness are very different, and I don't
But
want to
it's
like
still,
compare
it's
that,
not,
but like the grief,
yeah.
right? And like the identity shift that you're kind of like forced into. You said that you used like AI as like your coach and emotional like sounding board, like during like this hardest season. And I don't think like a lot of people really like think about it that way. And like I know for myself, like going through a really hard time last year, like I was using AI to kind of like help me process things. I think that's the biggest thing, because we're so in it, right? And we kind of need that like outsider perspective. Can you explain to us more about like what that actually looked like?
Yeah. So this is something I basically, going through just the growth that I've gone on, I think internally over the years, I know that I'm somebody that, and I think a lot of people are, like, I have to get what is in my head out somehow, whether that is through journaling or talking, or, you know, I do go to therapy. But that would only be like once a week, or like friends are only available, you know, when they're available. And your journal's always there, but your journal doesn't talk back to you. And so I basically went to AI at that time, and I was like, hey, here's the stuff that is going on in my head. And it started there, but seeing that AI could reflect back to me, could reflect my own patterns, that I was kind of like telling it what to do in certain ways that like I would do for my own clients. I was like, kind of getting that coaching back that I give to other people, but having something that it wasn't coming from me, it was coming and reflecting back from something else. It just gave me that release of getting things out there, in a way that was available 24/7. And it allowed me to process through and grieve through so many different things at a level that was never possible in therapy or with friendships or in my human relationships. I know, as like weird as that sounds, I'm not replacing like those human relationships with AI at any point, but it allowed me to just kind of go like this instead of like jumping very slowly from topic to topic to like kind of unweave it. It was like I was able to unweave so much in one tiny session that I was actually able to like personally develop and process in such a different capacity than was ever available before.
And I know like this, a lot of this really comes down to like prompts. So like, what were you actually like asking it? Like, how did that support you emotionally? And like, what were some things that like maybe surprised you through it? I know that that's like a loaded question.
I know, because I'm just like, I don't know that I had prompts. I would just go to it and share what was going on in my head. And I would also then see what was like coming back at me and seeing what was good and what resonated and what didn't. Here was the big thing. When back in the day, like I think they do it a little bit better now because AI is progressing in such a big way. But I remember what I was doing. I was beating ChatGPT up, and basically like every time it responded to me, I would say like, hey, that word you used there, it makes me feel like this. And that word, not good enough. Like, I actually think this, and this, you're doing a terrible job. Can you like answer me in this ways and actually think about this, and this point as you're reflecting back to me? And so like every single time it responded, I just remember for like a month, I was like, I'm going to beat ChatGPT up until it can just like know who I am and understand my brain and understand like how I'm thinking about processing and growth and like working through things. And so I think that was probably like the biggest factor that helped it start to support me in the way that it did once I saw like, oh my gosh, it can do this. Like, let's get it better and better and better. And then that's when I was like, okay, we need to make this like a default setting and turn it into what is now Soul. for other people who aren't me and eating their chat GPTs up and have decades of coaching and business strategy experience to like beat it up with.
I love that. And like, that's just like the perfect kind of like segue into what you've been working on now, which is Soul, right? And how that like organically kind of like came about. So you built an AI coaching tool, essentially. You duplicated yourself in a way, but you talked about it helping people become more human, not more productive. Can you share like a little bit more like what you mean by that?
Yeah. So I think that when people, even if they are going to ChatGPT or Claude or any AI and using it in the way like I might be using it or even you're using it, you're still going in with like a purpose. Like I am coming in here and I want to work on my content, or I want to work on like, I want to process through this thing. Right. And so you're in a way limited to what you're going in there for. Okay. And so when you come into the art of becoming and you're working with with Soul, because it's Soul works within the art of becoming, but like Soul, I'm hoping can be its own thing that supports many other programs, even outside of mine. But what Soul does is it actually is learning your patterns. It's learning how you think through things. It is pulling out subconscious cues about you, and it's helping you form the vision that you have for the future. And so because it has this framework of like pulling these different things out of you, and then it is learning how you actually turn in and transform to the future person that you want to be and the future business owner that you want to be. It's then being able to support you in becoming that. And so when you go into ChatGPT, it isn't supporting you to be like, let me find your soul and your purpose and make sure that it's infused to like all of the parts of your business and help you emotionally process through this and like find this block so that you can become that person you want to be. Where in Soul, it's like you are there, you're being guided in different ways. It is checking in with you weekly with certain aspects. It's learning like, oh, this triggered this person. This really helped this person navigate that circumstance. And it's learning like, I can like show you some of the notes, even like that it's pulled up on some of your stuff. It's interesting. Like even in a couple conversations, it's like, oh, I learned this about like Kelsey, and we started the conversation here. I mentioned this, like that didn't resonate. That did. Next time, like focus on this or that. And so it's like really learning how to support this individual person. And that changes for every single person that works with Soul.
Are you an entrepreneur trying to grow your business and your family at the same time? Trust me, I've been there. 2 maternity leaves in 2 years, a design studio to run, and a dream that just won't quit. That's why I created my one-on-one mentorship sessions. These 60-minute strategy calls are designed for business owners like you who are navigating growth, motherhood, and everything in between. Whether you just need clarity around your offers, help planning your maternity leave, support building your team, or just a space to talk through what's actually working, I've got you. These sessions are $250 and they're already making waves with creatives who just need a fresh set of eyes and someone who gets it. Head on over to themonarchdesign.co/mentorship to book yours, or just DM me mentor on Instagram at Monarch Design Co. You don't have to figure this season out alone. Right. So it's more of like a humanized approach instead of like,
I mean, I think a lot of the AIs are like, they're getting very humanized, but I would say the goal when you're working with Soul is to grow and transform. Where if you're going to ChatGPT or you're going to Claude, like the goal is determined by that person that goes to it, right? Like if they aren't somebody who is growing and transforming and like understands like how to get there, like they're not going to get there because that isn't even in their realm. where Soul's whole container is like, let's help this person like become who they have always been like meant to and want to be. And so it having that as its like primary goal, and like it's just really watching like your emotions and patterns and transformation, and like it is transforming how it supports you as it goes there. Like that's it just is a lot different with that underlying intention. Does that make sense? Or like, so, because I'm also at a point where I'm like, I'm trying to explain this to other people as well. So if you're like, no.
Yeah, no, like I understand, like AI is essentially like approaching that like human level intelligence like within the next year, and it's already grown and gotten so much better. And I know that can sound terrifying for a lot of people, but like for someone who is not techy at all, like what does that like actually mean?
Yeah, so this is something like I've been researching, and it's AGI, which is like artificial general intelligence. And it is like an actual like cutoff moment, right? And so you can hear about AGI and you're like, oh, is that like a acronym for some company? And it's like, no, it is a point in time. Like there was electricity and there wasn't electricity. Like what is that point in time, right? We're not there yet, but AGI is this point in time where it goes to like AI can now actually function and do like 99% of what humans are functioning and doing, period. And right now it's not there, but it's like, I think people think this is like 30 years away, and it's pretty freaking close. So yeah. Just even think about like, I mean, we've been having conversations last year where we're like, ooh, great. Like it can respond to me and like it kind of like gets to know me. And now Claude is literally taking over my entire computer and doing things that would have taken me months to do in 45 minutes and clicking around for me and making things happen just because I thought them and said, hey, Claude, can you do these things for me? And it does. Like that.
Literally insane. I know we've just been like chatting about that like in like the past like week or two, like in our DMs, and I'm just like, wait, what? It's insane, and it's like it is moving fast. I do feel like I know that a lot of people are like apprehensive about AI and like the ethical views and you know all the things, but like I think something that resonated with me that like you mentioned early on when we were chatting about AI is like comparing it to like the internet too. Like if you're not like adapting, like you're going to essentially be left behind. And it's not about like having AI replace you. It's how can you use it to help with like productivity and like growing and like even like understanding more like in depth.
Yeah, because we're going to have basically like it is, you think about any kind of technology as a tool, right? It isn't conscious. It isn't human. It doesn't have its own, I mean, well, this gets kind of wild, but it doesn't have its own, like, this is what I'm going to do without the humans behind it saying, I want to make this happen, right? Like any kind of tool is kind of an extension of human thought creation, of consciousness, of growth. And so I do feel like AI is such an inevitability that I'm on the side of like being very conscious with like the terrible things about it. And also knowing it is already created, it is out there, it is learning, and it is growing. So how can we utilize it as a tool and then also be able to like get even more clear on our own like internal, like this is my purpose, this is my why, this is what I want to bring to the world, like this is what is bringing me joy, and how can I actually like impact the world in a way that feels really good for me. And I think that at least what I've done with Soul is it helps you find more of that. It is not there to be like, let me check these things off of your to-do list. It's helping you get more inquisitive about like your own values and your purpose and like how you're bringing that to life and how it's impacting other people and your family and the world, and just like allowing you to work through the mindset gunk too that is usually and always holding everyone back, whether they think it's a strategy problem or not. And so that's where I believe that when used right, or even like if you're in a container where like soul is, it can help support, bring more of that, like who you are as a person out of you, rather than just like trying to populate the world with more AI gunk, which is what a lot of it is right now.
And I think that's like the key, like differentiating factor is like you can use it to like go deeper and get better with things, but if you're just gonna like it's all in like how you use it and what you put out there in it, right?
Yeah.
So you scaled past your coaching $1 million and then had to walk away from that. What did that teach you about how you want to build this time?
Yeah. I mean, it kind
like,
of...
What are you doing differently? Like, how are you building, not rebuilding? And like, how does your health inform your business model now?
Yeah. So it, in a sense, almost created these crazy parameters in which I had to think very differently about how I approached business. And I think that during my like lowest points last year, I was just like, maybe I'm not an entrepreneur. Like I physically I didn't have the brain power or the physical ability to like do much of anything at certain points. And so having that as my parameter for like, okay, but what can you do? And I would like go to Soul and like chat and try to like work through all of the possibilities of what I could even do with how my life was. And that is like basically Soul gets to be this like ongoing extension of how I kind of support people, but it also gets to grow on its own a little bit. And it's using all of the methods and like the aligned business method that I've had for years as a framework for sustainable business building. That is not something that is ever like, here is this trend that we're going to like implement. It is very like, here is holistic, sustainable business principles. And like, how are you using those and like checking back in on your business as it grows and as it evolves and coming back to those foundational layers to make sure it is continuing to sustain or grow or like do what it needs to do to support your life and your future. So I'm able to take all of that. Like I literally took like everything that I had in my framework, popped it through Claude, and it like spit it back out in a way that like Soul could then read in its database. And that's like the framework for how Soul is supporting from a lot of like the lessons and things like that. And I'm going in and like editing, and I'm in this like deep dive of like, when I do have the energy, I can go in and I can code and I can like audit what Soul is like learning from, and I can like do things as my energy allows. But now, because I did create this, it is able to do a lot of that like physical doing, which is what a lot of AI will start to be able to do. It can do that doing for you. So what becomes important is like, how are you like designing the infrastructure? How are you thinking about what you're infusing as far as like values goes and like your own just uniqueness into what you're building, and like what is your why? Because that is what is going to be differentiated when building and the actual doing becomes something that like can just happen like a million times faster than they ever have been. So like for Ashley, as an example, I don't think like creativity and like art and like that creative direction is something that like is going to go away. So how do you like double, triple, quadruple down on your vision for Monarch. And like, you're definitely doing that, and you have been. And like, the way in which you approach design is like your creative capital, right? And the why behind your brand is your creative capital. And like the actual doing, like you might be able to like think about this and like talk about it and have some like visual parameters and then click a button and have a website done for somebody. Like that might be the execution of the future, but like no one is going to take away like your unique point of view and what you are infusing into like the meaning and the why and the purpose of what you're building. And so I think that's what I'm hoping Soul can get to and continue to grow and help people learn about themselves. But for me, it's been able to, that's how I've created it. It's like, there is no button to push. Soul is just out there doing what I do, for me, but I'm still like doing the visioning and like doing the research and like showing up and putting energy into the business when I can, which I love. But now that like I don't have a sustainable energy flow because of my health, I can't depend on me physically being able to like do the things to keep my business running like I have for the past 3-ish years.
And yeah, I think I'm just like digesting it all because like, and I've been using Soul more and more, and like I've used Claude before. Like I was loving Claude at the beginning, and then using ChatGPT, and there's just like little nuances in like all these different platforms, and it's nice to kind of like get like a different perspective here and there. But like you've come a long way with Soul, even just like what you're building in the art of becoming, and like having Soul as like a tool within that. And it was funny, I was using it over the weekend to like go through some stuff, and I love just like the responses and like the little message that comes up when you open it up. And as it's responding, I'm just like picturing like Kelsey talking to me.
That's funny. That makes me feel really good.
Because it definitely like sounds like more like you, because I worked with you like for the last year. When was it? 2023? No, 2024, 2025. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like time is just like collapsing.
I know. Like, I was like, I didn't know if we were working together for 1 or 2 years, but it's been because you joined Art of Becoming like right when you like ended one-on-one coaching. It's like, I just feel like I'm like, we're still together. And then we talk all the time. So I'm just like, we're just,
yeah. So it's really nice to kind of like have that like sounding board to like work through things at like a bigger level.
Yep.
And like the more you use it, the more it's learning about you, which is like the biggest thing. And that's like what we're going to be like working through a little bit too, like today, afterwards. But like, that's kind of why I've been jumping through like ChatGPT and like Claude, because like I like how Claude outputs things. And I used to joke Claude was like my internet boyfriend. But I started using ChatGPT quite a bit, and I feel like it's learned a lot. So now it's like, how do we communicate with these programs and like these robots so that it essentially like collapses time for us in a more supportive way, and not like in a way to like replace things. Like you said, like it's just a tool. Like thinking about it this way, like anyone can pick up a paintbrush. It's how you understand like how to execute what you're envisioning and like, using it. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the bigger things behind why I am excited about Soul, is because it doesn't envision for you, right? But it helps you. Like you've picked up that paintbrush and now it's like, well, what do you think about that? Why are you thinking in that way? What are you wanting to process through? What's coming up for you after you do this meditation? Like, what do you want from the future? And it's like almost, instead of you just having this paintbrush and like looking out into the empty abyss of the world, it's there to like pull more out of you so that you start to form your own vision and your own values, or, you know, explaining your values and how that's built into your business so that you can create that beautiful picture and painting, but it's from you, and Soul's there to kind of like help you develop who you are. That is really the point.
Yeah. I think it definitely brings like more depth and like dimension like to everything that we're doing.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, if you want to go then research a bunch, like go head over to Claude and do this. Like I definitely am like all over the place. And I feel like Soul is where I can just like have like my essence exist, because it can like bring all of those threads in, and I plop in things from Claude and ChatGPT and like put it into Soul. And I just love that it's like housed in one place that can like understand the full context of who I am. So when I am processing through different parts of my life and everything, like it's able to see that and give me feedback in a way that the other AIs can't, because they don't have that full context of me.
Before we wrap up, we're going to go into like a little rapid fire, this or that, and then you'll be able to plug all the things, and we'll have everything linked in the show notes and the blog so that people can definitely check it out. So I'm going to say like 2 different things, and you let me know like what comes to mind first. You ready?
Yes.
Mountains or ocean?
Mountains.
ChatGPT or Claude?
Claude.
Big launch or quiet build?
Quiet build.
Sales page or DM sales?
DM sales.
Email list or Instagram?
Oh, Instagram.
Niche down or expand?
Both.
Call or text? Or voice note?
I was like, voice note for sure. I was like, it just really depends on the context. Why are these so hard for me?
All good. I love that. Thank you. So if someone is listening and thinking, I've been avoiding AI because I'm scared, or it feels overwhelming or misaligned, what would you want to say to them? Like, what would be like your biggest like takeaway? Or like,
I would say that, I mean, honestly, like whenever there's a fear, I always like to be like, okay, so what is like your worst case scenario, or why are you afraid of whatever it is? And really dissecting that and understanding, like, is that coming from a core belief of my own that I want to keep? Or is that coming from somebody else, something else out there that I'm afraid of happening? And so, I mean, that's kind of like with anything. And I do think that's like AI, at least at this point, like you can be as discerning as you want. Like you don't have to like use anything. Like I wouldn't use the word for word content that it's like creating, and like you get the choice to like say no and like not use or not believe or like dissect your own truth at any time being, just like anybody else. Like you can read any book, you can listen to any podcast. Like, what are you doing with that information that you're being given? Like, how is that affecting you? And so like you have that power to choose how that's affecting you. And so if it is something where it's like you're afraid because of these outside influences, maybe, and you do want to be experimenting with it, just know that like you can, and you get to choose and be discerning along the way for what aligns with you, what aligns with your values, and what you want to be doing and bringing to the world. And it can just be this like amazing tool that can allow you to like do things that were never possible, because processing at that level has never been humanly possible. It has taken like millions of dollars and teams of people to do what AI is doing in 1 minute now. And so having that power to be able to think through things and like aggregate that amount of information and get that data back to then use and reflect on like a tool, and then have your own thoughts and perspectives and building your own things, like that's the power there that you're giving up by not exploring it. If it does feel like something that's aligned to you. And again, if you're like, I am heart and soul, like so against this, like for this, and this reason, totally like do that too. So
yeah, I think that's a really great, like, practical way to look at it and do with it as you please.
yeah.
Amazing. So where can our listeners connect with you, work with you, or work with the Art of Becoming?
Yeah. So I have thealignbusiness.com, and it's thealignbusiness.com/become. That is the Art of Becoming. So my actual website, Ashley, I'm sure you hear this from all your people. They're like, don't go to my actual website. It doesn't, like, it's not my real stuff. I'm like, that is me right now. But the actual sales page is thealignbusiness.com/become. You can learn all about that. But mostly I am on Instagram, and it's at Kelsey Kerslake. I'm always on there in the DMs. I love chatting with people. And I feel like I'm just entering this new season of, like, I've been behind the scenes building everything, and I've had so little energy. And now that it's, like, out there and built and it can support people, I'm like, okay, the energy I do have, I'm now able to be visible. Like, literally as of this week, I feel like I'm like, woo, like, I get to be out there and, like, talking about it, because I'm not sitting behind the computer, like, building the infrastructure, like, all day. So yeah, I'm just excited to be there on Instagram, on my podcast, and just chatting about all of this, because I'm sure it'll change, like, by next week, and there'll be more to talk about. So yeah, on Instagram right now.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, definitely go there and connect with Kelsey. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you guys had a great time learning all about AI and, like, the future of AI and the art of becoming, and how it can really be used as a tool to better support you.
Thank you, Ashley. So excited to be here.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the Self-Made Life podcast. If you loved this episode, share it with a friend, leave a review, or hit follow so that you never miss an episode. Want to work together or grab some free resources? You can always find me over at www.themonarchdesign.co/podcast. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep building, and go create your self-made life.
This podcast is produced, mixed, and edited by Cardinal Studio. For more information about how to start your own podcast, please visit www.cardinalstudio.co or email Mike at mike@cardinalstudio.co. You can also find the details in the show notes.